So I told him, bro, you don't come back with my money, I'm gonna smack your mother. She was sitting right there, too. They called me. It was like, we have an arrest warrant. I said, that sucks. I get a knock at the door one day while I'm smoking crack. I get a knock on the door. I'm ordering Burger King. I look over at him with shackles on. I'm like, hey, kid, you want something? It's on the state of Connecticut. Don't worry about it.
Welcome to The Recovery Idiot. Please like and subscribe and visit therecoveryidiot.com. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We're still trying to figure out how TikTok works. The following contains explicit language and situations that some might find unsettling. Viewer discretion is advised.
Sniffing pills, cocaine, heroin, hitting the stem. It started with 80s, he cried when they stopped making them. In and out of detox, behind alternatives, Hill box. Now Gibbs got all the props, more Boston than the Red Sox. Smoked enough rock for everyone in Fenway. Got pulled in Martin County, but didn't try to run away. His family thought that he could never quit. Looking at 30 years in Connecticut. Someone pulled a knife, he said you'll never use it. Got stabbed and got banned from Massachusetts. Scraping pipes for residue, working steps a big breakthrough. Tough enough will sponsor you baby mamas, he's got a few. Going straight out of Boston. Going straight out of Boston. Sniffing pills, cocaine, heroin, hitting the stem. It started with 80s, he cried when it stopped making them. In and out of detox, behind alternatives, Hill box. Now Gibbs got all the props, more Boston than the Red Sox. Smoked enough rock for everyone in Fenway. Got pulled in Martin County, but didn't try to run away. His family thought that he could never quit. Looking at 30 years in Connecticut. Someone pulled a knife, he said you'll never use it. Got stabbed and got banned from Massachusetts. Scraping pipes for residue, working steps a big breakthrough. Tough enough will sponsor you baby mamas, he's got a few. Going straight out of Boston. Going straight out of Boston.
No, some kid beat me for $40, bro. I sent him to go get dope, and he went with my kid's mother and was like, oh, the dude didn't have nothing, but he took my money. So I told him, bro, you don't come back with my money, I'm gonna smack your mother. She was sitting right there, too. He was like, I'll stab you. I was like, no, you won't. Yo, he did. He came down the street and stabbed me. I started running. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't no gangster. I started running. Hand leaking. I'm like, oh, shit.
My name is Leroy, recovered alcoholic addict. And today in the beautiful Section 9 studios, I have my good friend Eddie. And I first heard Eddie speak at a meeting. It was a Drug Addicts Anonymous meeting, and I was new to that program. And when Eddie spoke, it was just raw and uncensored, and it was graphic, and it was real life. One of the first times that I was like, yes, this is where I need to be. The stuff he said related to recovery, but it was the type of life that I needed to recover from too. And it just hooked me in. It was one of the reasons I kept coming to that program. And today I finally get to hear more about him. So Eddie, what's up?
Appreciate you having me here. Eddie, alcoholic addict, recovered, grateful, just getting it by one day at a time.
One thing I wanted to say before was that it's very obvious you're from Boston. It's very obvious.
I'm from New Bedford, Massachusetts, about 45, 50 minutes away outside of Boston. Spent a lot of time in Boston, halfway houses, treatment centers, leave the treatment center, run on Mass Ave, get lost, call my friends, hey, pick me up in 3 hours. Next thing you know, I call them 3 months later. I'm like, hey, I'm ready to get picked up. Just the typical shit that we do, you know what I'm saying?
So how and where did it all get started?
Well, it all got started like I was young. My father had left my mom. Basically, my mom got a new boyfriend. He lived in a real, like, nice suburban neighborhood, and that's not where my friends were from, you know what I'm saying? My friends were all, like, living in Section 8 apartments, and I wanted to hang out with them, but they were just selling drugs. It all started, really, I moved to a little town called Fairhaven, which is right over the bridge from New Bedford, and these kids were rich. I was like, oh, we're in, you know what I'm saying? Dating this girl out there, and her brother, like, all his friends, they would come over, and yeah, man, they were just like, oh, try these pills. I'm like, you're trying to tell me this little green pill's gonna fuck me up? I tried my first 80, and it was all over. Next thing I know, I'm calling people like, yo, I got my mom's debit card. You know what I'm saying? I got a mountain bike. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like, I'm bottom of the barrel junkie. Like, no shower for 4 weeks, to the point my boy's like, yo, go hop in the shower, bro. Like, you smell, like...
I gotta say, I did a lot of drugs. Shot up heroin before I did my first 80. But just something about that green pill it just, life is never the same once you take your first one.
You want to laugh? So my kid's mother's mom basically raised me, right? She took me in because like I couldn't live at my mom's house. Her boyfriend didn't want me there. You know what I'm saying? She just died 2 years ago from brain cancer. Miss that lady every day, right? I remember the last time I called my plug to re-up on OCs, and he was like, bro, they don't make them no more. They're gone. Are you ready for this? I broke down crying on my knees in the front lawn. To the point mom was like, who died? I'm like, they're not making OCs no more. What am I going to do? And I remember my older brother was already shooting heroin, selling heroin. And he used to tell me all the time, like, you got to come to the dark side.
Yeah, it's cheaper.
I'm like, nah, hell no, you a junkie. I do pills, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I looked at it though for so many years. You was worse than me because you did heroin through a needle and I sniffed this pill that came out of a bottle.
I thought that for a long time, even up until recently when I got back in recovery. You know, I had a doctor that gave it to me. Yeah, if I ran out, I had to do some shady stuff and make some deals, but it's still coming from a doctor. So it's not an addiction if it's a prescription. That's what I used to say to my uncle. That's what I used to say to my family. Anyone who cared about me and thought I was going off the deep end. No, it's not an addiction if there's a prescription. There was times when I do 2-3-80s and then the thought of smoking crack just sounded good for some reason. And I would go down to Kansas City and I would drive in the hood, like the really bad parts of the hood, just to pick up guys who could get crack. And I'm driving around. I don't even like smoking crack, but I heard it mentioned in a 50 Cent song earlier that day. And it kept playing in my head. I was like, oh, let's smoke some crack.
Oh, so 50 put you on to smoking crack.
Yes.
Shout out 50.
So I went out that night and I spent all my money. And I ended up using the company card to buy 2 cartons of cigarettes to trade for crack.
As you should.
And then when the weekend was over and I went back to work on Monday, it's like, it's nothing wrong with me. I'm not a junkie.
No. My first time, my boy called me and was like, you got to try this. And I was like, try what? He was like, I'm riding my bike to your house. That's how young we was. Like, I'm riding my bike to your house. And I promise you, Leroy, this kid rode his bike to my house. He came upstairs. This motherfucker had a mustard bottle. He had a mustard bottle, right? And I'll tell you this, I was never the same after that.
No.
I was never the same. Like, my drug of choice is really what you got and do you have more. I'm a garbage barrel. Heroin, Xanax, Klonopins, crack, coke.
All the good
shit. If we're out, you got Suboxone. Oh, you got Subutex, that's fine.
A little meth if I have to.
I didn't find meth till I got to Florida.
So what were the events that led up to you having to go to Florida?
You ready for this one? You might laugh. I would go to treatment centers, right? My favorite one, like, I'm not going to mention treatment centers because, you know.
Yeah, people get upset.
But I'd go to treatment centers in, like, Fall River, and it was close enough to New Bedford where if I got kicked out, I knew somebody would come pick me up. And then I started diving a little further. And I started going into Boston because my kid's mother was like, yo, I can't take this no more. Like, I don't even want you around our kid. You gotta go away. So I'm like, you know what? East Boston's about an hour away, far enough for me to go and get my life together. So I went out there, and it was COVID time, and all these kids were getting stimulus checks and $20,000 checks, and like, you live in a halfway house, they're going out buying chains and all this. I got my check and I was like, I'm moving back home. You know what I'm saying? I'm moving back home. So I went and got a little $400 apartment in Fall River, Mass. And when I knew there was no consequences, I was like, oh, I can get high today and not get high tomorrow. Never happened for me. So I went on a crazy run. I was using heavy every day. I was kind of maintaining a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd go in 3 days out of 5-day week.
It's over 50%. It's a passing grade.
It was all right, but my brother Jesus was with me every day, and like, he was getting high, I was getting high, and then it was weird because my brother Brendan hit me up one day and was like, what are you doing with your life? And I was like, oh, I'm doing all right, you know.
People only say they're doing all right when they're fucked up. I deal with this all the time. Whenever someone gives me a text or says, like, yeah, things are going good. Normal people don't say that. Like, if you're sober, you don't have to tell somebody, hey, man, life's going good. No, it's only the people that are high that say,
and I'm trying to explain how good I'm doing.
Yes.
Like, I'm trying to leave out that I'm getting high. So he was like, why don't you come to Florida? I can't go to Florida. You know what I'm saying? I got my apartment, job, this, that. You know, he sent me a text back like, fuck all that shit. Leave your apartment, everything in it, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get you a plane ticket. You're going to come to Florida.
Is this your first time coming to Florida?
Yeah. This is during COVID. It was like 2021. So COVID was like kind of just like, I cannot lie to you, Leroy. The day before I had my plane ticket, right? Which was on March 21st. So March 20th, I had my sons at my house. My girl was at work. I'm like, I'm sick as a dog. I have a $20 bill in my hand. I tell my sons at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, yo, dad's going to the store. I'll be right back. The store was literally around the corner at the top of the street. Now, my sons were like 13, years old at the time, so it's not like I left the baby at home. I run to the trap house. They're like, we got no dope. I'm like, what the fuck kind of trap house is this? So there's this girl there that I know since kindergarten. She's like, yo, I can get dope over here. So you know us as addicts. I'm like, I'm going with you. I go with her. We both get our shit. I remember walking through a church parking lot and I could see the front door of my house. And I heard a boof, like a car accident. So I turned around, New Bedford Task Force gang unit. Like, broils, don't run. I'm like, I'm not. And I remember dropping my piece in my pants, but I had like ripped pants on. So the cops searching me. I'm talking my fucking shit. The other cop stabs her in the throat with the pen, and she spits her piece out. So when the cop searching me looks at her, my piece flies out of my pants, and he don't see it. I'm like, trying to move away from him. He's like, stop fidgeting. I'm like, you're fidgeting. They arrest me for fucking conspiracy to violate drug laws. How gay of a charge is that?
What?
I don't even know what that is.
Conspiracy.
I don't even know what that is.
So that means you just thinking about drugs gives you a conspiracy.
I was thinking about getting high, so I got arrested. I went to court in the morning, and I told the judge, Your Honor, I have a plane ticket for Florida at 6 o'clock. She looked at me, she looked at all my papers and threw the whole file on the thing. She said, Mr. Brooks, if you get on an airplane, go to the state of Florida, and never return to the state of Massachusetts again, I'll dismiss this case.
Done.
Sold.
Where do I sign?
Sold. Ran out, got high for my last time in Mass.
Of course.
Got on an airplane, came down here. My brother picked me up because I didn't know how to operate buying a plane ticket. You know what I'm saying? Never been out of my city. So I flew into Jacksonville. It was like 4 hours away from him. I got a little hotel. I remember him picking me up with my boy Joe. I was just laying on the floor outside of a Waffle House, laying on the ground. So sick, couldn't move. He's like, get in the car, get in the truck. I get in the truck. I'm laying in the back like, what am I doing right now? I have no idea where I am. I have no money, no vehicle, no license. No, I don't have nothing to my name. I had like a quarter pack of Newports and fucking a dead vape. He brings me to his house, puts me on a bed, and goes, I'm going to Orlando. I'll see you Monday morning. Here's some magnesium and Seroquel. Figure it out. I'm like, cool, dude. Like, in the middle of the woods. He lived like in the middle of the woods, too.
Where was he? He wasn't in Jacksonville, was he?
No. Cocoa, Florida.
Oh, so you had to go from Jacksonville to Cocoa,
Yeah.
dope sick in the back of a truck?
So basically, like, I worked that Monday with my boy. He got me a little, like, job. Even though he owns a company, he wanted to see where my willingness was at, right? Try being dope sick moving log.
Logs.
I'm like, bro, like, then he puts me on a rooftop the next day doing an AC install in the blazing heat while I'm sick. But
I'm shaking my head because I can't remember all the times that I was dope sick doing air conditioning. Yes, many hot summer days doing air conditioning on day 3. Day 3 is the furthest I could ever make it. You know, first day sucks, second day's a little worse, third day things start getting better. The third day's when I get high. Every time.
yeah, it's not going to be that bad the next day. But after about, it was like 2 or 3 months, I'll tell you, I can promise you, I can put my hand on a Bible. I did not leave my house that day to get high. I went to Dunkin' Donuts to get my iced coffee, and my car, my girlfriend's car, I didn't have a car at the time, took an automatic left onto Peachtree in Cocoa, Florida. If you know how that is, then yeah.
Is that like the Orange Blossom Trail or the Avenue D?
It's the Avenue D of Cocoa. I pulled up to the bodega. I got 15 people running up to my car. What do you need? What do you need? So I'm like, what do you got? I just got paid. Saturday morning, you know what I'm saying? And the dude was like, I got dog food. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I'll take it.
Ah, yeah, that's right. That's kind of local, the dog food.
I didn't know what that meant. I'm not from Florida. So I get a little... And when I get high, I get emotional. So I sniff a little line. I go back to my house. I call my brother like a dummy.
Start telling him how much you love him?
Yeah. He's like, bro, you're high right now. Get out of my house. And I'm like, I'm not high. Bro, I walked to the treatment center down the street where my boys were at, high as a kite, got dropped off at another treatment center outside of Cocoa, told them I was going to kill myself. They Baker acted me. You know how many times I've been Baker acted? Up north, we call it sectioned. And it was just ongoing to the point he picked me up one day in a hotel in Merritt Island because I asked some dude for dope, and the dude gave me meth. And it was one of them situations, like, I looked at it, and I was like,
It might do something anyway.
Why not? As addicts, it's always like, why not?
There was multiple times that people had found drugs. Like when I lived in Jacksonville on this huge job site, it happened all the time. There'd be like a little something left in a bag, and people would give it to me to try it out. Because it didn't matter what it was, I'll try it. I might die or I might get really high. It's worth it. And I would do it all the time. The last time I was on Avenue D, this was during the time of my last run. Couldn't find anything. The normal guy I went through wasn't answering. So I'm at a bodega. The guy comes up, the usual deal. Give him $40. He comes back with tinfoil, like this little ball of tinfoil. I unwrap it, and I swear to God, it was Ajax. Like, just the smell, the look. I was like, this is fucking Ajax. I know it. And I was like, thanks, man. What the fuck? I'm so disappointed. Like, now I'm starting to break down because I just want to get high so bad. I was like, well, maybe it's not Ajax. I squirt a little water in it. I'm like, well, if it dissolves, I'll try it. But whatever the hell it wouldn't even dissolve. And I was like, all right, this is officially poison. I got ripped off. That's it. But as an addict, you're not going to miss out on an opportunity.
Yeah,
I mean, if you can get high,
I went
you got
for
to. So that was your first time doing meth.
Yeah, then I got stuck in a hotel for 2 weeks.
Did you ever go to sleep?
No. So finally he hits me up and he's like, bro, I'm going to bring you to the nicest treatment center in Florida, right? I'm going to bring you to the nicest treatment center in Florida. Sends me all these pictures and I'm all meffed out. I'm like, I can go here and ride horses and shit, what? They got fucking jacuzzis and shit. They got fucking hot tubs. Dude, he comes to the hotel with my old sponsor, picks me up, puts me in the back of his truck once again, drives me to Fort Pierce, Florida, brings me to a state-ran facility in Fort Pierce. We can say New Horizon on here. Yes. Six tour veteran. He dropped me off. I got out of the back of the truck. My Xanax and my dope fell out of my pocket. Hey, he starts stomping on him in the parking lot. Even my sponsor was like, let him do it. He's already here. He's stomping on it. I'm like, no. I was so disappointed. But I went in there and Leroy was just defeated. And that was the first time I put together a year. When I put together that year, I wasn't living how I should be living. We'll say it like that. The only thing I had a year with is not getting high. I was still acting out with women, doing things of that nature. And
trying to be clean but living dirty.
Yeah, being clean, living very dirty. And I ended up getting high after my year, and I got high for 2 days, and I got arrested, and I'm going to prison for a warrant out of Connecticut.
If you didn't get high, would you may have never gone to prison?
No, it wasn't even like that. It was kind of just like a consequence of my actions. I mean, I've already been charged with it. I've already did my time, so I could talk about it. Backtrack a couple years before, February 2020, I was in a treatment center in Florida. Me and this kid were getting high together. I kept telling him, like, dude, you don't want to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit's strong. You've been in treatment, whatever. And you know, as addicts, we're like, come on. So after the fucking 15th come on, I just gave him a bag. He went in his room, and he died. State police come in. People are like pointing at me. I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. My boy comes, picks me up. We leave, go on another run. I'm back in my house in New Bedford. I get a knock at the door one day while I'm smoking crack. I get a knock on the door, right? I'm like, who is it? Like, Connecticut State Police. I'm like, that shit ain't funny. That was my boys fucking with me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been stressing this, bro, talking about. They were like, Connecticut State Police, open the door. I just took a big old blast in the bathroom, too.
It's the absolute worst way to get arrested.
So I opened the door. Now I'm geeked out. So I'm like, come in. So I'm sitting on the couch, right? And they're talking, they're asking me questions. I'm just giving them head nods because I'm so stuck. And finally, like, the high settled. And I looked at them, I was like, you guys got an arrest warrant? They're like, no. I'm like, you got a search warrant? Like, no, get the fuck out of my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out of my house. So finally, after I came down here, I got pulled over. It's kind of funny, too, because I got pulled over and the cop told me I didn't have a warrant.
But this was years later, right?
Yeah, they didn't get me till 2023. They called me. It was like, we have an arrest warrant. I said, that sucks. You gotta turn yourself in. I'm like, bro, I'm nowhere even around you.
Okay, so you knew that there was one.
I knew that there was a warrant.
I didn't know if it came out of nowhere.
That's why when I got pulled over that morning going to work, I'm like,
sucks.
I looked at my girl like, I'm going to jail. I'm going to run. She's like, don't run. Look at that man. That man's fit. Do not run. He's going to catch you before you get to the end of Publix. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to run. He came back and was like, yo, you don't have everything's clean. Go ahead. So I went back to the office I was working in. About 15 minutes in there. She comes running in first. She opens the door. She's like, Eddie, run. They're coming. I'm like, what? And I look behind her and there's like fucking 10, 15 cops running in. Look like marshals. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Vest on. Helmets.
All the equipment, you know.
And actually, my boy James came out, and James like put his hand out. He's like, "You guys can't come in here." And they're like, "Sir, we have a warrant for that man." You know what I'm saying? For a homicide, he needs to come with us. I'm like, for a homicide, you know what I'm saying? Let's take care of this. So I get in the police car. They take me to Martin County. Let's talk about how I got transferred from Martin County to West Palm Beach Airport. I was getting extradited in the fucking Enterprise car. I got the Enterprise. I'm like, they got me captive. Please call the cops. I was gonna run. And my wife was like, you see how fit that man is? I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of out of shape. Let me not run. They had me shackled up through West Palm Beach Airport. Just all the way through. Some kid's looking at me while I'm ordering Burger King. I look over at him with shackles on. I'm like, hey, kid, you want something? It's on the state of Connecticut. Don't worry about it. You extradite me to fucking Connecticut. First offer, 30 years. I said, that's not even an offer.
So, just to be clear, if anyone doesn't know, you do have previous convictions, and
Yes.
you have a record that precedes. This wasn't your first run-in with the law.
This wasn't my first run-in with the law, but this was like my most extreme run-in with the law.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It doesn't get much bigger than that.
I'm in the prison like, all right, they're offering me 30 years, right?
That means maybe you can get them down at 10, 15, you know?
No, that means maybe I can go back to my dorm, make fucking wine, and snort Suboxone for the rest of the time till next court date. So
Okay, there's that approach.
So I'm getting high. I'm getting high in the prison. You ever been sick in prison? You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's like, bro, why do you need so many cash apps? I'm like, just cash app it, please. Please just send the cash app. And finally, I wasn't going to court. I kept refusing court. And one day they told me like, hey, you got a lawyer visit at court. You have to go, or you could be actually charged in the state of Connecticut. I don't know what the charge
like
is.
failure to appear while you're locked up.
Yeah, get a warrant and go to jail while you're in jail. Like, what are you gonna do? Arrest me? I went to court that day. My boy was like, "Please just go, bro." I went to court, and the lawyer came down, and she said, "Yeah, the best thing we can do is 2, 3, and 10. It'll equal 15. You'll do 2 years in prison, 3 years probation, 10 years suspended." You know how much of an addict I am?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm like, "Can we get it any lower?" She's like, "No, we cannot get it any lower than this."
Probation is the worst part. They set you up to fail with
I thought I
probation.
wasn't a probation candidate anymore. I've done drug court. I've done OCC. I've done it all. You know what I'm saying? PHP, IOP, every P you can get, I've done. And I took it, and now it was October 18th, and I was like, I don't want to get high no more. If I just got blessed like that, who am I to just spit in God's face? You know what I'm saying?
One of the reasons why I decided to do things like this and stay sober is because if you look at the charges I have last time I got arrested, they say over 11 grams of heroin in the car, in a moving car, so that's, trafficking. And I have a record, and there may be some trafficking related things. Paid a lot of money to get, knocked off. But Martin County, St. Lucie County, Okeechobee County, the 19th Circuit, they put more years on people than anywhere else in Florida over drugs. They just want to lock you up forever.
Florida's crazy.
They told me, well, with this charge and this being, your 7th felony, your 3rd, habitual, whatever, blah, 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 all that shit, it was supposed to be 20 years. That was the first thing they told me. And I'm fucking 40. So, 20 years means life.
You gotta come out in a stroller.
I'm not going to come out. It's just simple as that, because either one, I'm just going to kill myself, or I'm going to find a way to get high enough to kill myself. When I finally went to court the last time, she had told me she was going to work on it. I only seen this woman twice, my public defender. And the last time I seen her, and she was like, yeah, they're just going to charge you for the .08. It's like, they want you to plead guilty to that. It'll be a felony. It'll be in your record.
We just want the conviction.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so what about the big one? And she's like, then you have to say misdemeanor paraphernalia. I plead guilty to that. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. I'm like, what happened to the, equal or above 11 grams of heroin?
Yeah, where'd everything go?
And it just wasn't there. And I was like, where do I sign?
It's hard before it shows up.
Something just went wrong, or well, it went right for me, but something happened that the humongous charge that they were going to screw me for, I had a tiny little charge now. And it was like, at that moment, I got to do something different. Because, I had just planned everything out. I'm going to prison. It's okay, because I'm going to work out like crazy. I'm going to finally get, tattoos on my face and, finally just do whatever I want, because I'm never getting out. Let's go fucking buck wild. And that didn't happen. So I was like, probably need to do something different this time. I know that it's Xanax and Klonopin that'll set me off. I have such bad anxiety, but this weird thing happens is every time I take Klonopin and Xanax, I usually end up overdosed in a car that has just flipped over because it leads me to fentanyl heroin.
Yeah, why are we here?
But that's just like you said, the spit in God's face. I was given an opportunity that people would kill for, and I can't fuck that up.
So it was crazy because my boy James died while I was in jail. That took a big toll on me because he was one of the main ones that would answer all my jail calls. Not a lot of people answer jail calls. Nobody wants to sit there for 15 minutes on the phone. He'd answer every call. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what you need? Are you good? This and that. So when he died, that was a big impact. And then a month later, my brother Jesus overdosed, and I was just like, let's crash out. Let's do this, let's do that. I couldn't stay sober at first, like I said. That was in July. A day after I got a text, an email message on my tablet, because they have tablets now in prison. It's fucking, I was like, what is this?
It's not even like punishment anymore if you get to play on a tablet.
I got
all
a tablet
day.
and a TV and house slippers, and I'm like, I'm chilling. My fiance texted me, my sister texted me and was like, hey, I don't want to tell you this, but Jesus overdosed and died. 2 days later, my door popped out sick. They're like, Eddie, AA. I'm like, I would never sign up for AA in prison. Shut my fucking door. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna shut my door. No way. And he's like, no, you're on the list right here. And it wasn't my handwriting, nothing. I'm like, all right, let me go down there. And like I said, from July to October, I couldn't stay sober. And then some lifer pulled me over because I was actually in the lifer block. This dude Trey was like, he was big into AA in there. You know what I'm saying? He'd walk around with his big book. Everybody thought he was a fucking weirdo. I'd play blackjack with him and gamble with him. And one day he sat me down and was like, when you gonna take your life seriously? You got people around you losing their lives. When you gonna take yours seriously? You just got cut the deal of a lifetime. Have you ever worked with a sponsor? And you know us. Yeah, I worked with a sponsor
We
before.
all say that, yeah.
He said, he looked me in the eye, Leroy, and he said, I couldn't tell. So what the fuck you mean? He said, work with me. This is right after my sentencing. So after this, like, I did not drink. I did not get high. We're reading the book. In the day room, on the tier, near the shower, reading the big book with another grown man. These motherfuckers is gang banging and, you know what I'm saying? Like, fighting in the laundry room and doing all this shit. This man made me feel so serene as we're reading. And, like, you know, he's breaking it down to me. And then the fourth step came. It was kind of funny because, yo, we went knee for knee in the corner where the shower and the barbers are and did our third step prayer. And people were clapping. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, but I didn't have that aha experience like other people have. So the fourth step came, right? And then we went on lockdown for a shakedown. So we was on lockdown for a week. He would yell to the vent. He'd be like, you writing? I'm like, not right now. He said, what the fuck else you got to do? And it was like, damn, like he's probably right. What else do I have to do? So I started writing my fourth step. And after my fourth step, we went to my fifth. And that's when I really got in contact with God. Because he was like, bro, you ain't got nothing to worry about. No one to talk to here. You know what I'm saying? You probably don't like your celly. Talk to God. And that's when I first learned how to like sit down and calm down and like really talk to God and listen to him at the same time.
I thought that I was okay because I talked to God all day. But just like any relationship, if all you do is scream at your girlfriend, you never listen to her, it's not a good relationship. And I was doing a whole lot of screaming to God. And it wasn't until I worked my steps and had to sit there for an hour in silence and, you know, start processing things like I won't shut my mouth to sit down and listen. And it's when things started changing. That's when you're really talking to God, when you're listening to him. Because most of the time he's there screaming at me, telling me I'm doing the wrong thing, and I'm too busy doing the wrong thing to listen.
Like, I've gotten to the point where like a lot of people would be like, why do you do this? Why do you do that? But like, I've noticed that it's always the people that care the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, basically everybody in my life is in recovery. Whether it's AA, DAA, or NA. Back home, the man that basically raised me, you know what I'm saying? I call him Pop. He was one of my dad's best friends. He's been in recovery 15 years. He an old school black dude, so he don't hold nothing. He don't hold it. Like, shots are fired at all times. I find that approach to work for me, but it doesn't work for everybody. My brother has an approach where he'll just be like, bro, fuck off. Give it to God. He says it all the time, and I know if they watch it, he'll be like, trust the process. I'm like, what the fuck is the process? Where's the process? Because I'm trying to trust it, but I'm losing jobs. I'm dead broke. You know what I'm saying? But when it's at that time, an opportunity occurs, and then it's like, bro, I just left prison dead broke. You know what I'm saying? I actually got to pick up my son that weekend. I came home. I drove from Connecticut to Florida, back across Florida to pick up my son and take him school shopping for the first time in, I don't know, probably ever, I think. I don't even know. Spent a weekend with him, talked to my kids, went back home, got a job, and then it was like, he hit me up like, hey, we got this opportunity. We're going to go do a bunch of HVAC work in Texas. And probation's like, yeah, sure, you can go out of state. Just give me this, and that. And it's like, how did we get here?
I have no idea because I don't know anyone else who got probation like that.
I'm like, how did we get here? My probation officer will be like, just tell me where you're going, who you're with, where you're staying. She writes me a travel permit.
Out of all the people that trust, she trusts you.
Out of all the people she trusts,
That's not because of you. That's because of God.
Yeah.
Because no one should trust you on probation.
There was times where like you couldn't trust me with a piece of bubble gum. I was that dude to rob. You know what I'm saying? You lose your piece in my car. We look for it. I'd find it. I bet, you know, I got something, but I'll split it with you. But you owe me. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay me for this. And it's yours. Like, I was really a real life scumbag. I'm not the person to sit up in a meeting and be like, I never robbed my family. I robbed my mom, my aunts, my sister. Oh, you're going to the bathroom? I'm going to your room. I'm going through your jewelry box.
Go through your purse.
I'm going through your purse. You know what I'm saying? My mom just got her check. I took a bunch of money from her when the amends came in, and it was like, you have to pay that back. You know what I'm saying? But I can never pay her back the times where like she stood up all night, and the times my sisters drove around. My sister drove around one night, found me in a crack house smoking crack in a window. I was supposed to be a lookout at the crack house, but I'm smoking in the window.
You didn't even notice your sister.
No. I noticed my sister. She she looked up and she pointed. But I was so high that I was like, maybe that wasn't her. Knowing it was her, but I didn't want to believe it, right? Because I still had a bunch of shit. Do you know what I didn't notice?
The cops coming?
The 4 police cars that pulled in front of the trap house and walked up the back stairs and tapped me on the shoulder while I'm taking a hit. And I told the cop, please hold on while I finish this. And then they took me to get section, which is Baker acted down here. They took me to get section, Leroy, and I beat it. And I walked out the courtroom.
Did you go get high?
I went and got high, and 2 days later, ready? I'm not even gonna lie to you. I called the cops on myself, told them I was gonna fucking rob the store and then kill myself. And then I went to a psych ward for 30 days.
It's an interesting approach.
You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't be here. All the treatment centers. I've been to 36 treatment centers just in Mass. Probably about 6 or 7 in Florida. Because I always took it like, all right, you know what? If I fuck up again, there's always
another treatment center.
Another treatment center. We could try this again. So why not? Like the book says, I had to go out and do further research. Like I would relapse and sniff a bag and go to treatment. Like after going on a little run sniffing and justify it by I didn't use a needle, I didn't smoke crack, I didn't shoot coke, I got to go back out and do. I don't belong here. I didn't do enough.
I'm not as bad as these people.
I didn't even go on that bad of a run. I got to up this person's run. That sounds fucking stupid. I got to up this man's run. He went crazy.
A lot of people I know, like my sponsor, he shouldn't be here. Technically, my sponsor shouldn't be here because he had a bad sentence but got released. My sponsor kind of shouldn't be where he is because he shouldn't have been able to get a degree when he went to prison. There's a whole bunch of us that should not be here. We should not be alive. If it wasn't for Narcan, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for getting caught by the guard hanging myself, I wouldn't be here. All the accidents I've been in, I can't even count all the times I've been in a wrecked car. It's definitely over a dozen. All the things, I got electrocuted by the third rail in Atlanta on the subway tracks.
And you live to tell about that?
And actually kind of got a little electrocuted in Philly on a different track. But that's a long story. But all these things I survived. Now I've been given this mission, which is to try to spread the word to drug addicts that the 12 steps in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous can work for them. That's all I'm doing this for. To try to tell other people like me that, hey, this works too. Because when I was a drug addict, last thing I wanted was AA. That doesn't make sense. Why would I care about AA? Why would that help me? But now that I know it works, if I were to get high again and fuck it up, it would be like the most disgraceful thing to happen in the history of humanity. For me to fuck that up. You shouldn't be here either.
I can't even tell you how many times I overdosing inside like sober houses and halfway houses. Like overdose. I got hit with 7 vials of Narcan. I'll never eat shrimp ramen ever again. Because I ate like 12 packs of shrimp ramen, OD, they hit me with Narcan, woke up, threw it all up. The cops ran in, I told them that the kid that overdosed just ran out the back door. So when they took off, I took off. It was a bad one though.
There was one that was bad compared to all them? There
was a bad one. I went out fishing with my friend Nick. Commercial fishing, you make a good amount of money. So it was only a 3-day trip, you know what I'm saying? Make like $4,000. We were driving through like the east side of Fall River, and he was clean at the time, I was clean at the time, living in a sober house in Providence, Rhode Island. And he was like, it's a good day to smoke crack. I swear to God, you know when you're with your boy and like they just give you that look and you're just like, yes. Like, they don't even have to say nothing. But he was like, it's a good day to smoke crack. And, like, I hate when people are like, oh, it's the rainy days or it's the past trauma. Like the book says, I like the effects produced. Yes. It don't matter what produces it. I like the effects produced by it. So I'm like, you're right. It is a good day. Let's go. Now, mind you, I told you how much we made. It was only like a 6-day run. We pulled into a speedway. I couldn't lie to you, Leroy. We get out of the car to get gas, and there's a wallet sitting on the floor, right? No ID, no credit cards, just $1,200 cash in it. Cash. I'm like, who the hell carries cash anymore? So, you know when you do the dip down, you grab it, you look around. Anybody see me grab that? You slowly throw it in the car, get in the car, waiting for somebody to run up. Hey, you grab my wallet. We drove off, and I truly think this is like a consequence of that. We drove off, we got high, we split the money, you know what I'm saying? I was like, drop me off at my kid's mother's mom's house. But I can't go back to my halfway house.
Obviously.
I went there and I jumped through her window and I went into her bottle. She had Xanax prescribed. So I took like 3 of them. I jumped back out the window and I pull up. You know how we do the, hey, how you guys doing? She's like, oh my God, honey. Da, da, da. I remember begging my brother-in-law, I'm like, yo, please call dude and tell him to bring a 40. And he was like, hell no. He was like, that shit will kill you. I'm like, this ain't gonna kill me. Just give me a 40. I was like, yo, I got Xanax. He's like, for real? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, here's one. The fucked up thing I did was I crushed up one. I put it in a drink. So that way he would fall asleep. I could take his phone and text dude. This is how sick I am, Leroy. So I text dude to come by. Knowing dude don't like me. So I run outside. I remember grabbing the piece, come back inside. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I got sunglasses on in the house, no shirt. And I'm on FaceTime with my friend. And I remember sniffing a line, sniffing another little line. And all I remember, jumping up. Hey, I pissed myself. Went through all that. And I jumped up and the EMTs were like, yo, sit down, sit down. And they hit me with adrenaline and Narcan. So I was like going crazy. And yeah, they said I had been dead. My brother-in-law actually worked on me, like pumping my chest. The EMT had to pry him off of. He's fighting cops. He's about to go to jail for fighting cops. He's like, I'm not letting him die. I got like that foam was coming out of my mouth and out of my nose. They put me in the ambulance and I went back out. I went to a coma for 27 days. So like this opportunity now, like I had twin daughters in recovery, 10 children.
We definitely need to talk about that more.
My twin daughters were born, and like I said, I was in recovery, but I wasn't doing recovery. I can't even sit here and lie. I wasn't really there. I was out doing my own thing once they came home, and then I went to prison. Missed their first everything, you know what I'm saying? Their first steps, their first words. I watched them grow up through pictures because my fiance couldn't visit me virtually because she has a charge from back in Massachusetts. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got charges and shit, I can't love you. If there's no 209A, I can't love you. You know what I'm saying? But she couldn't visit me, so her mother would do it virtually, visit me. I'd watch the girls grow up like that, and when I came home, I remember the first hugs my daughters gave me, and that was the first time in so long I felt at peace. And I thought about it, and I'm like, yo, I'm home with my kids. I got my son wanting to come stay with me. I can't fuck this up. No matter how bad things get, I can't go and make them worse. Because I hate when people say getting high is not an option. Getting high is always an option.
Yeah.
It's there.
It's an easy option. It's always there.
I could drive 15 minutes north, go to Avenue D, and be high in 12 minutes. I promise you. But what does that solve? What do I put my kids through more heartache and pain? You know what I'm saying? Put the people I love again. Like, put the people I love back in that position where it's like, damn, he done it again? Or do I take the trials and tribulations, right? Because I love telling people, like, I don't take losses. I take L's, but they're lessons. Everything's a lesson in my life. All right, we won't do that again. We won't do this again. Even though right now I'm going through a little tough time right now. Nothing's tough enough to make me go get high. The depression and the anxiety that I deal with on a daily basis, like I'll get in the car, take a ride, and just like go look at the water and pray. As weird as that sounds. And I'll be like, it's really gonna be okay. It's not a bad life, it's a bad moment. But them bad moments make for a stronger comeback. Every time it's like, all right, we're gonna deal with this. I just got back from my third trip in Texas. I came back, I had to handle Christmas again. I was able to load my Christmas tree with presents. Never have I ever. You know what I'm saying? Who am I to go against what God wants? And I have control issues. You know what I'm saying? Not in my relationship, but in my life.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm like,
all my problems tie back to things aren't going the way I want them to go right at this minute.
I want my brother to hire me back right now. But how many times have I fucked it over? How many times have I gone to work and got high? Went and did a job, got paid good and got high. So like, I have to understand that what I do today, I have to keep doing every day. It's not like, hey, I'm doing great, blah, blah. That's why I don't even call home. Nobody wants to applaud you for doing the shit you should have been doing off the rip. Like, oh, you're not sticking a needle in your arm no more? Good job, dude.
Guess what? We have never stuck a needle in our arm.
But no, I love the life I live today, Leroy, for real. Like, does it get stressful? Like, sponsees and like, I don't go to as many meetings as, like, I go to meetings strictly to find sponsees. I work with a sponsor. You know what I'm saying? I talk to my sponsor sometimes. Like, I know him. He's from Massachusetts too, so we get along. I just do them 12 sentences on the wall. That's really all I can complicate cereal, dude. I can complicate fucking making a bowl of cereal. And when I came in here, dudes were like, bro, stop complicating it. Just do it. It's a book. Like, guidelines to your life. And I always thought, like, hey, if I just don't shoot heroin,
I'll be okay. Everything will be solid.
Everything will be okay. But I'm just one angry, miserable motherfucker. So, like, now when I try to, like, revert back to my old ways, not getting high, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, talking to people crazy and things like that, I gotta remember, like, dude, I got kids that I would never want anybody to speak to that way. Like, I don't serve a punishing God. And when I talk about God, like, I hope nobody, like, takes it like, oh my God, this kid's like a Bible. Like, no, I don't do the whole religion thing. But, like, my higher powers, I've known in person. They were tangible to me at one point. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? Like, I pray to the people that I've lost. And, like, sometimes there'll be signs. Like, we were driving to Texas, right? And there was this one big sign that says, Jesus loves you. And I just started laughing because my brother's name was Jesus. And it was just like, I just started laughing. Like this huge sign. The only thing it said, no phone number, no nothing, just Jesus loves. And then like a brisket sign behind it. And I was like, yes, he does, because I'm starving. Like, let's pull over.
Oh shit, the bar full, so glad you decided to quit. Now let's look at pictures of the recovery idiot. Holy shit, you look horrible. Holy shit.
That's a defect, though. You know
It's a glaring defect.
It gets better.
I know, but it shouldn't take this many years.
Trust me, I get it.
You need to explain some of these pictures. So,
Dude, sometimes
what's-
you go into that file and it's like, damn, I really live like.
so what happened here?
You see, what happened was I finished smoking crack after about 4 days. Right, I jumped in. I went to my kid's mother's mom's house. I jumped through the window, took the Xanax, jumped out the window, went around like I was never there, seen her, gave my brother-in-law one Xanax for him to take, right? And I crushed up the other one, put it in his drink because he wouldn't call his dope dealer for me.
So this is after you got that 40.
Yeah, that's after I got that 40, right? I OD'd. I woke up in the morning. The EMT was like, there's something wrong with you. Your eyes are all black. And you know us, after we come out of an OD, I jumped up. I'm good.
Yes, good.
I'm ready to go. Leave me alone. Nah, I'm straight. I'm good. I don't need to go to the hospital. No hospitals. I'm good. He was like, nah, dude, you need to... Like, the EMT was like, dude, you need to go to the hospital right now. Like, you was just dead. Like, we need to go and take tests on you, whatever. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll get on this fucking stupid stretcher. We'll go to the hospital.
Thinking you'll be out in a couple minutes, no big deal.
Right back out. Went into a deep coma. People were like, oh, did you see a white light and this, that? The only thing I really remember is I felt like I was sitting at a table with, like an interrogation table with a light swinging in the middle of it. It was like the devil and God were debating, like, who's taking him? I don't want him. You want him? I don't want him.
So what was it that caused it?
Basically, the benzos and the fentanyl mixed together. Days of being up, smoking crack, and I came down so fast, I jolted my heart and my brain to just collapse. Boom. Like I said, this was during COVID time, so they had me in the ICU. Nobody come see me. My kid's mother is actually... one of my kids' mothers is actually my healthcare proxy. She became a healthcare proxy. One night she was like, sign this paper, I give you $40. Hell yeah. Give me that paper. I don't know what I'm signing. I signed it. But I'm actually grateful I did that because she's in healthcare. My little sister's in healthcare, so is my older sister. So they were at the hospital. Leroy, when I tell you, every day, like, it cost my kid's mother her relationship because she was like, I'm not leaving him in the hospital by himself. And she was bedside day for day arguing with the doctors and the nurses.
And how long were you in there for?
I was in the coma. I believe it was about 20 days. And then I woke up. The doctor told my kid's mother, like, hey, listen, like, there's no brain activity. Like, you know what I'm saying? If there's nothing in 48 hours, we have to pull the plug. She went home and she told my sons about it. And I guess my son told her, like, if you let my dad die, I'll never forgive you. A couple of my boys that I used to get high with, they're big into, like, the church now. And they went there and, like, kneeled outside the doors and prayed. My boy Shane, my boy DJ, they went there and prayed. I remember just waking up in the morning, Leroy, like it was a regular... Oh, I'm looking
like
around.
Nothing happened?
I got the tube down my throat, though.
Oh, God.
I look at my kid's mom, like, wrong. And she's like, oh, shit. Like, she waved down the nurse. I'm like, what happened? I OD? She was like, yeah, like 20
3
days.
weeks ago?
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago. I just looked at her. I'm like, this must be hell. You're here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I can't walk, right? I had to learn how to walk again. I'm trying to feed myself applesauce, and I was like hitting myself in the face with it. They had to put a feeding tube. But the crazy thing is, as soon as I could walk to what they call those little bathroom things, like the little things you sit on, as soon as I can get to that, I was like, close please, I'm checking out. They're like, sir, you need to go through physical therapy and all that. Bro, they got me fucking sectioned. I'm trying to walk out the hospital in a Johnny. Here comes the cops down saying, like, Mr. Bros, don't run. I'm like, bro, I can't even walk. You want me to run? I'm in front of the judge, bro, with shaky legs. I got sectioned for 30 days, and then that's when I went to East Boston and came back, and I did the whole thing over again because, you know what I'm saying, sometimes we just don't give a fuck.
So this is a very interesting photograph. You look very, what's the word, corpse-like.
Yo, the crazy thing is, I've been in that outfit for like 3 weeks straight. I told my cousin, like, yo, listen, if you get me a bag of dope, I'll go to treatment.
Fair trade.
He was like, you know what? I'll do it. I didn't expect him to do it. I was dead broke. I'm like, bro, you just bring me a 40 and you let me do it. I'll go to treatment. You know what I'm saying? It's freezing outside. I'm homeless. So he comes down. He's a barber, you know what I'm saying? So he comes down, whatever. I get in the back seat. He gives it to me. Now, I'm an addict, bro. I didn't even get out of the car. I pull a spoon out of my hoodie pocket. He's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing my shit you just gave me. What are you talking about? Like, can I do my shit? He's like, whatever, bro. Just do it. Hurry up. So I throw it in the spoon, whatever, do my thing. And I start yelling at him, Leroy. I'm like, yo, you beat me. This shit's fake. This shit's fake. And I remember, like, coming to again. Like, bro, you really beat me? And he showed me the picture. He's like, bro, you've been nodded out for 20 minutes in the backseat of my car. Like, who beat you? And I'm like, you beat me. He was like, you got your bag. You're going to treatment. And the funny thing about that picture is, right after that, I jumped out the car and I ran. And I forgot that I left my phone and everything in his car. So I had to go back to and get my shit out of his car. And I ended up going to treatment that day and getting kicked out that night.
But you held up your end of the bargain. You did go to treatment.
Yeah, 4 hours.
I don't even know how to describe that.
Look,
I mean, it looks like it could be one of your relatives, but it doesn't look like it could be you.
I just graduated drug court, right? My kid's mother actually took that picture because we were talking and she was like, you're getting high. I'm like, nah, I'm clean. Now, mind you, I'm paying $200 a month to this doctor that's prescribing me 3 8 milligrams Suboxone, 3 fucking Xanax bars, 3 Klonopin, 3 Adderall, 3 Johnnies, 3 this, 3 that. And I'm selling them all and I'm smoking crack at 100 miles an hour. And I'm trying to convince her that I'm clean. In this picture,
So this is what she's looking at. Who's saying, I'm clean, I'm clean. I'm 80 pounds when I'm clean.
Yeah, I'm 110 pounds, ready to go. Let's go. What do you need done? You ever go to meetings just to make somebody happy?
Yes.
I'm like going to meetings and fucking shooting dope in the bathroom. Because I'm like, I'm safe. Like, if I die, they'll come and get me. And she found a crack pipe in my pocket. And she was like, throw it off the porch. So I tried hitting like the little grass section in the sidewalk.
So you know you could go get it?
Yeah, and it bounced and it shattered all over the fucking... And I really went out there, Leroy, and tried to pick up little pieces of glass and like scraping it out. And it just didn't work. And yeah, she ended up leaving me after that day.
So funny thing is, from hearing you talk at meetings and just from knowing you, I always thought you're more of just a straight opiate person. I didn't know you like the crack.
No, I'm a coconut.
I liked shooting it when I was mixing it with other stuff, but I really don't like coke by itself.
You're about to fuck around and find out in this next one. Tell you.
I recognize the thermal because I've had a couple of those in my time.
I thought it was a good idea to go out and shoot coke. He kept telling like his mom, I'm coming home, I'm on my way home. I'm in a 1998 4Runner. One speaker works, no license. I'm with my boy Worm. And he's like, bro, just go home. And I'm like, bro, I can't. He's like, you're down the street. I'm like, I physically can't go home. Finally, after about 8-9 hours of this, right? I go home. But when I got to my door, I kicked it in. I can't make this shit up, man. I wish she was sitting here to tell you. I kicked it in. She ran out the back door. She was pregnant at the time. I kicked the door. I don't know why I kicked it. Oh, the door was locked. I got mad, so I kicked it. Kicked it right up the whole frame fell in. Hey, I get inside, and she got like a steak dinner made on the table. And I'm like, oh, I'm such an asshole. Whatever, I got more coke. So I sit down. So now she's in the middle of the street yelling, you junkie, you shooting coke in my house. I start throwing her clothes out the window. I'm like, you come up here, I'm going to shoot you. The neighbor heard it. Neighbor called the cops. You know, when we're on coke, we think we're like the baddest.
Yes.
I'm like, you can call the Navy SEALs, you can call the Marines. Bro, I saw 2 fucking city cops. I started shutting lights off. I got in the back room, right? And I heard them bang. I boarded the door up with a fucking kitchen chair. And when I heard them kick it in, I did my last shot of coke. I came out with my hands up. No lie, Leroy. Came out with my hands up shaking. I'm like, I'm unarmed. Hey, the cop looked at me, laughed, and shot me with the taser. Pow! Me. Hit the floor. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. He's like, stop resisting. Hits it again. Sees a needle. He's like, you junkie. Hits it again. I went to jail, but I was already out on 2 bails. So they hit me with a fucking 802A, which is detained or dangerous 90 days. Mando. So I sit for 90 days. I ended up fighting the CO, so I sat in the box for 60 of them. And finally, they're like, we're going to release you. And this was crazy. They're like, we're going to release you if you do drug court, OCC, and probation.
What's OCC?
OCC is kind of like IOP. I had to be at a building every day. I had to pee in a cup every day for OCC. Call drug court for sometimes I was pissing 3 times a day.
Oh, do you have the colors? They pick one.
I had colors, numbers, and OCC. They would like, you real life junk box. Like, you cannot get it together. Hey, but I passed it though. Because I ended up getting that doctor that I paid $200 a month to. So would you say before, if it's a prescription, it's not an addiction?
It's not an addiction if it's a prescription.
They couldn't violate me because I have a prescription.
That's illegal. That's such a loophole. Such a good loophole.
So she was like, you're not even clean doing this. So in that picture, I came out of the bathroom after sniffing a Xanny, and I'm like scratching my ass because I'm mad itchy, and I'm like, I'm fine, I'm good. Like, let's go to OCC. That's how I went to OCC in my jail thermal the next day. Like, why am I still wearing that?
It probably still smells like jail too.
Dude, I just wore that in the box for 60 days. I probably washed it twice in the sink. You know?
I haven't thought about washing clothes in the sink in so long.
A terrible life, man. Like, I think back now to like where I'm at now, and it's like the little things that like that we don't really take gratitude to, like a washer and dryer or like an oven.
Being able to lock your doors, being able to open your doors without someone hitting a buzzer.
Yeah, being able to like piss without flushing 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? Like stupid little things like that we take for granted when we're on the street, the people around us. But then like we go to prison or jail and it's like, damn, I wish I can just lay down and watch a movie and fall asleep in my own bed. Like having dreams about being outside and hearing poof, chow. It's like, fuck you and chow. Nobody want to eat that shit.
You had 60 seconds to change somebody's life. What would you tell them?
I would just tell them to take their life seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you knuckle down now, you never have to go through this again. You know what I'm saying? If you're in treatment, if you're in your first 30, 60, 90, and halfway, like, you never have to do this ever again. You know what I'm saying? It's temporary. It's like temporary pain for permanent success. You know what I'm saying? Like, I promise you, if you stay clean, you stay sober, you work these steps, you talk to God, you help other people, because helping other people is what really, like, you know what I'm
It's
saying?
the big part that a lot of people leave out.
Yeah, I spent my whole Christmas helping somebody else because that was the biggest gift I can give somebody, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if you're out there struggling, just go find somebody, help them. It doesn't even have to be financially. Go talk to them, whatever. That's the richest you can ever be, is helping somebody else.
Thanks for watching The Recovery Idiot. Please like and subscribe and visit theircoveryidiot.com and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Our MySpace page is still in development. Get a sponsor, work the steps, and don't smoke crack when the cops are kicking in your door.